come in so we don't interfere with things going on behind the bleacher area. We want to remind folks that the 4C 100-year celebration, 100 years in the Southdown business, they're celebrating this year here at the North American. They're having a small reception back right behind the bleachers. They invite their friends and other folks to come back here and enjoy some refreshments and some reminiscing. We want to introduce our judges for our shows this evening. Judging our Ramblés is Ryan Craig of St. Joseph, Illinois. Ryan is the key account specialist for Rovenia Next. He and his family, that include Rachel, his wife, Brady, Dylan, and Caleb, their sons, raise Corriedale, natural colored, and now baby doll Southdowns. Ryan is a past president and director for the American Corriedale Association. He's current vice president of the Natural Colored Wool Growers Association and the current director of the Land of Lincoln Purebred Association of Illinois. Outside of livestock, Ryan enjoys coaching and volunteering in all of his children's sporting events. In the center, or up doing the baby doll Southdowns, is Alex Wolf, Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Alex and his family own and operate Wolf Brothers Livestock, where they raise natural colored and club lambs. Alex is a fifth-generation shepherd. He and his wife, Melissa, have 3 children that are all heavily involved in their operation. And doing the Monadales for your National Monadale show is Evan Snyder. No, this is not Evan P. Snyder from Wonder Why Farms in Baldwin, Pennsylvania. This is Evan Snyder from Atglen, Pennsylvania, the farm manager at Macaulay, Suffolk. Evan is an amateur foodie who is always in search of the perfect cocktail. He also enjoys occasional Amish buggy races through the streets of Atglen. Go Pokes. Let's welcome our 3 judges this evening to the North American.
Here in the Monadale ring, we have 2 yearling rams to get started here. Just a bigger, bolder ram here to lead off with a nice head about him. Just more of him today. Both these rams are pretty straight in terms of their lines. Both of them move around the ring free and easy. I think a nice pair to get started with. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations.
Placing on the Ramblé class of yearling rams, first place goes to entry 3, Heggs Crazy H Club Lambs, Jordan, Montana with Marshall, WM 3-94. Second place to entry 2, Vivian Stephenson, Mount Olla, North Carolina with Lazy 5, 8218. Placing on the Monadale yearling ram class, first place goes to entry 2, Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois, with Corzat 2444. Second place to entry number 1, Lydia Letman, Waterloo, Illinois, with Letman 1642.
Here in the Monadale ring here, we got three nice senior ram lambs here. I think one that just a little bit truer in terms of his top line here. Maybe the struggle in those two. I'd like to maybe darken his nose just a nickel if we could to make him a little more ideal headed. But a ram that's got some length about him. He moves about the ring free and easy. I think just an awfully neat one there to lead off with. The next one got some substance to him, some thickness and some width and dimension. Again, maybe the better headed one in terms of his dark points, and you certainly appreciate that about him. Maybe just shortens up just a nickel compared to that leadoff ram. Maybe not quite as neat in his shoulder build, but an awfully nice one as well. And then we round out the third one here. Really a straight line ram when you run your hands down his top. Maybe change him just a nickel about his feet and legs if we could. I think three nice senior rams. Let's give him a round of applause. Congratulations here. Here in the Monadale ring, we've got three come back out here for our senior champion ram. Let's put our hands together for these exhibitors and breeders here. I think a pretty close here on this champion drive. You got a big yearling ram here with a nice head about him. Got a real fancy fall lamb here. At the end of the day, for me, I think the fall ram is just a little bit better behind his shoulder as he ties in there into his rack. I think he'll be our champion today, and then we'll bounce back and get that yearling for reserve. Nice pair. Let's give him a round of applause. Congratulations.
For the Monadales, our senior champion goes to the senior ram lamb, Cody Jacobson. LeGrand, California, with Jacobson 2505. The reserve to the first place yearling ram, Mallory Corzat. Berwick, Illinois, with Corzat 2444. Placing on the senior ram lambs for the Ramblés, first place goes to entry 7, In-Body Brothers Ramblés, Genera, Ohio, with In-Body F2461. Second place to entry number 4, Dwayne Bach, New York Mills, Minnesota, with Dewdrop Farm 2494. Third place to entry 6, Vivian Stephenson, Mount Ulla, North Carolina, and fourth place to entry 5, Vivian Stephenson. Placing on the yearling ram class for the Baby Doll Southdowns. First place goes to entry number 5, Vivian Stephenson, Mount Ulla, North Carolina, with Big Woods Donkers, 618, Oregon. Second place to entry 3, Jovi Meisner, Ransom, Illinois, with Wooly Nelson, 6812-0155. And third to Alfred McDaniel, Thorndale, Texas. Placing on the Fall Ram Lamb class for the South Downs, first place to entry 8, Harper Nichols, Jerseyville, Illinois, with Milroy Express, MT3730. Second to entry 7, Gary Eckmeyer, Pipestone, Minnesota, with Elmdale Farm, SD4872. And third place to entry 6, Joe Meisner, Ransom, Illinois.
Here in the Monadale ring, we've got 3 nice January Rams here. One that we lead off with, just an awfully nice one in terms of straightness, in terms of his lines. He's super good right behind his shoulders when you get your hands on him. He's really square in terms of his edges. Got a nice head about him in terms of his color, in terms of his black points. I think an awfully neat one there to lead off with. Pounds heavy one here that comes into second. Certainly appreciate the rib and dimension in this sheep. And at times, maybe you like some things in terms of that rear flank, maybe just a nickel better than our class winner. Certainly a lot of dimension about him. He's not quite as fancy, not quite as neat built in his shoulder as we have in that class winner, but an awfully nice sheep to go into 2. And then the slick sheared that the young man brings to us. You got to appreciate the foot size on this sheep. Again, very nice about his head. Nothing wrong with him because we sheared him. Maybe not quite as much mass to him today as we have in those 2 ahead of him, but a trio of really nice Monadale Rams. Congratulations here.
For the Ramblers, placing on the Junior Ram Lamb class, first place to entry number 8, Jared Connor, South Bloomfield, Ohio, with UNI 0886. Second place to entry 10, InBody Brothers, Ramblers, Gennaro, Ohio, with InBody 2502. Third place to entry 9, Heggs Crazy H Club Lambs, Jordan, Montana. Placing on the pair of Ram Lambs, first to entry 11, InBody Brothers, Ramblers, Gennaro, Ohio. Second to entry 12, Vivian Stephenson, Mount Ulla, North Carolina. Placing on the Baby Doll Southdown Winter Ram Lamb class, first to entry 10, Knox Heffelfinger, Patoka, Indiana, with Hot Shot Sid 9449. Second place to 13, Harper Nichols, Jerseyville, Illinois, with Nichols Blackie 2073. And third to entry 12, Gary Eckmeyer, Pipestone, Minnesota. For our Ramblay show, our champion ram goes to entry number 7 out of the senior ram lamb class, In-Body Brothers Ramblays, Genera, Ohio, with In-Body F2461. The reserve champion to the second place animal in that senior ram lamb class, entry 4, Dwayne Bauk, New York Mills, Minnesota, with Dewdrop Farm 2494. Now ready to move into yearling ewes. Placing on the Monadale January Ram Lamb class, first place to entry number 9, Greg Miller, Bruce, South Dakota, with Miller M5-10. Second place to entry number 8, Easton Novak, Rolling Prairie, Indiana, with Riley K2520. Third place to entry 10, Easton Novak, Rolling Prairie, Indiana. Exhibitors, whenever you come into the ring, please wear your current number. One of you exhibitors that are showing those animals. That way the videographers can get your name online and give you proper credit in the show ring. They use a catalog just like the rest of us do, and those exhibitor numbers are very important to identifying you.
Here on the Monadale side of the ring here, we've got a real nice group of February and after rams. A lot of differences and just types and kinds here for us. I think we get a combination sheep up here of just a really good topped one that travels around the ring free and easy enough. He's not the best moving one. That one's in second here for us, but a real neat one in terms of his front end here. You get your hands on him again. A lot of dimension working down his top and back in through his hip. He's got just a little more stretch and maybe a little more length about him than that one in second. I think just a neat combination sheep to lead off with here. We put him into motion. This next one's the one that you like to watch move around the ring. That one steps like they're supposed to, holds his front end together like they're supposed to, and just takes a nice wide stance for us. Again, maybe he shortens up just a nickel compared to that lead-off sheep. Maybe not quite as much wow or front end and extension about him than we have in that lead-off sheep, but you get your hands on him. There's a lot to him. He's got a big hip in him. I think one that offers just a nickel more bone for us. I think that's an awfully nice sheep in two. Our third one comes to us. When they get that one stuck, he is awfully nice. He paints a nice picture. He's really good in terms of that flank to flank length about him. We put him into motion. For me, that's where we get him into third. He's just a little bit piecey in terms of what he does with his balance. Really a nice headed ram, though. Maybe going to say that one's going to be one of the bigger yearlings come next year. I think another real high-end one to go third for us. Big sheep here in four, one that is pretty straight for as big as he is. That sheep has a pretty nice hip about him. He gets just a little bit frailer in terms of his bone work. Maybe you'd just like to stouten him up if we could, but again, one that's very growthy, and you certainly appreciate that about him. And we round out the top five here with a smaller, maybe younger lamb here for us, but really a nice design sheep. That sheep's a really good-footed sheep as well. He puts those on all four corners like they're supposed to. I think an awfully nice one as well. Good class. Let's put our hands together. Congratulations here.
Placing on the Monadale class of February and later born ram lambs. First place goes to entry number 15. Kuykendall Monadale's Richland Center, Wisconsin with Kuykendall 1270. Second place to entry 14, Kuykendall Monadale's with Kuykendall 1377. Third place to entry number 13, Andrew Slack, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. 4th to 16, Mallory Corzette, Berwick, Illinois. 5 to 17, Lydia Lutman, Waterloo, Illinois. 6 to entry 12, Mallory Corzette, Berwick, Illinois. And 7 to entry number 11, Luke Lutman, Waterloo, Illinois.
Here on the Montadale Ring, as we get these 4 junior Ram Lambs back out here, let's put our hands together for these exhibitors. I think another really nice group. I think a group of sheep that are very sound and good in terms of their top shape here for us. For me, that February and after Ram has just got so many nice pieces. He's got some boldness about him. He's nice about his head. You get your hands on him. He's got quite a bit of dimension, very sound on his feet and legs. He'll be our champion. Then it closes up just a nickel for reserve. I'm going to go back on that January Lamb. He's just straight as a spine. In terms of his spine, his super string is straight, with some fancy about him. Maybe not quite as much as our junior champion in terms of boldness. Nice pair. Let's give him a round of applause. Congratulations.
For the Montadales, the junior champion goes to the first place in the February and later class. Entry 15, Kuykendall Montadales, Richland Center, Wisconsin, with Kuykendall 1270. The reserve champion was first place in the January Ram Lamb class. Entry 9, Greg Miller, Bruce, South Dakota, with Miller M5-1. Placing on the yearling ewes for the Ramblets, placing on the pair of Montadale Ram Lambs, first place went to entry 60, Kuykendall Montadales, Richland Center, Wisconsin. Second to Cody Jacobson, La Grande, California. Third to entry 19, Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois. And 4 to 18, Easton Novak, Rolling Prairie, Indiana. For the Ramblets, placing on the yearling U class, first place goes to entry 19, Dwayne Bach, New York Mills, Minnesota, with Dewdrop Farm 2445. Second to 16, Jared Connor, South Bloomfield, Ohio, with UNI Livestock 0778. Third place to entry number 24, Vivian Stephenson, Mount Ulla, North Carolina. Fourth place to entry 20, also Vivian Stephenson. Fifth place to 22, Inbody Brothers Ramblets, Genera, Ohio. Sixth place to 18, Inbody Brothers Ramblets. Seventh place to entry 21, Heggs Crazy H Club Lambs, Jordan, Montana. And 8 to entry 17, also Heggs Crazy H Club Lambs. Placing on the Ramblet pair of yearling ewes, first place to Vivian Stephenson, Mount Ulla, North Carolina. Second, Inbody Brothers Ramblets, Genera, Ohio. And third to Heggs Crazy H Club Lambs of Jordan, Montana. Placing on the Baby Doll Southdown Spring Ram Lamb class, first to 21, Knox Heffelfinger, Patoka, Indiana, with Perfect Storm 711. Second place to entry 16, Vivian Stephenson, Mount Ulla, North Carolina, with Lazy 5 7918. Third to 18, Riley Donkers, Firebolt, Minnesota. Fourth place to 19, Harper Nichols, Jerseyville, Illinois. Fifth to 22, Riley Donkers, Firebolt, Minnesota. Sixth place to 23, Hadley, Kinley, and Knox Paulus, West Milton, Ohio. Seventh to 87, Mackenzie Mag, Ottawa, Ohio. And 8th to 90, Madeline Mag, Ottawa, Ohio. Ninth place to 17, Alfred McDaniel, Thorndale, Texas.
Here in the Montadale Ring, here in the center, we've got our 4 bucks and juniors and seniors back out here for our champion. Let's give them a big round of applause here. 4 really nice Montadale Rams here. I think these Rams are probably going to be stud bucks in these programs. I think they're all 4 very high quality. They're nice about their heads. They've got nice points about them. A very high quality set here. For me, the 2 junior Rams may just be a little more coordinated about their feet and legs for us today. I'm going to use both those junior Rams for champion and reserve. Congratulations.
For our Baby Doll Southdowns, our champion ram goes to the first place animal out of the Spring Ram Lamb class, entry 21, Knox Heffelfinger, Patoka, Indiana, with Perfect Storm 711. Reserve champion To entry 10, Knox Heffelfinger, Patoka, Indiana, with Hot Shot Sid, 94.49 out of the winter Ram Lamb class. For our Monadale show, our champion ram was entry 15, our junior champion ram, out of the February and later Ram Lamb class, Kuykendall Monadale's Richland Center, Wisconsin, with Kuykendall 1270. The reserve champion was our reserve junior champion out of the January Ram Lamb class, entry 9, Greg Miller, Bruce, South Dakota, with Miller M5-10. Placing on the Ramblay Senior U Lamb class, first place goes to entry number 28, Vivian Stephenson, Mount Olla, North Carolina, with Lazy 5, 8258. Second place to entry number 33, InBody Brothers, Ramblays, Genera, Ohio, with InBody F2465. Third place to 30, Dwayne Bauk, New York Mills, Minnesota. Fourth place to 29, Jared Connor, South Bloomfield, Ohio. Fifth to 38, Haig's Crazy H Club Lambs, Jordan, Montana. Sixth place to 34, Vivian Stephenson, Mount Olla, North Carolina. 7, InBody Brothers, Ramblays, Genera, Ohio. Eighth place to Haig's Crazy H Club Lambs, Jordan, Montana. Ninth place to 36, Hannah Hewitt, Forney, Texas. And 10 to 31, Jared Connor, South Bloomfield, Ohio. Placing on the yearling U class for the Baby Doll Southdowns, first to 45, Vivian Stephenson, Mount Olla, North Carolina, with Big Woods Donkers, 619, Oregano. Second place to 28, Harper Nichols, Jerseyville, Illinois, with Bombay Baby Dolls, 2450, Ella. Third place to entry 47, Knox Heffelfinger, Patoka, Indiana, with Bombay's Baby Dolls, MN8399. 4 to entry 31, Riley Donkers, Firebolt, Minnesota. 5 to 36, Joe V. Meisner, Ransom, Illinois. 6 to 35, Harper Nichols, Jerseyville, Illinois. 7 to 34, Hadley, Kinley, and Knox Paulus, West Milton, Ohio. 8th place to 43, Alfred McDaniel, Thorndale, Texas. 9 to entry 37, Reese Woodford, Baldwin, Wisconsin. And 10th place to 38, Caitlin Basil, Baldwin, Wisconsin.
Here on the Monadel side of the ring, we've got just a really, really nice set of yearling ewes here to sort through. After saying that, there's a lot of differences in them, and you can see that from the outside, and not just in these 5 top ones. There was a bunch of really nice ones here for us. Again, I think we get them sorted here for me, and I think you can interchange them if you want to for different reasons. These 3 that lead off for us are the best spined ones, just in terms of when you run your hands down their top. They don't break behind their shoulders. There's not much wool on any of these 3, and I think just an awfully nice trio. If you want to mix them around, you sure can. I think a really fancy, neat fronted one here to lead off with that moves pretty darn good. I think she tracks out pretty nice. I think she takes a nice step. If you're going to change her, maybe like to just deepen her up just a nickel if you could, compared to maybe that second ewe. That second ewe, you love her rib, her barrel, and her body about her. Change her just a nickel on her rear pasterns if you want to get real picky. I think a really nice female to go into 2. And our third one paints an extremely good picture from the side. Probably some of you on the outside say, whoa, we might have missed that deal. That female shortens up just a nickel compared to those leadoff ewes. That female is built extremely good. I think a trio of real high-end ones, and again, you can flip-flop them around if you want to. Our 4th ewe is going to tip the scale of being a really big female in terms of heavy, and you appreciate that about her. Really a nice, bold head about her. She does give up just a little bit of that top shape when you get your hands on her. There's some more wool about her. There's just a little bit of a break as she comes back behind her shoulders, but certainly long and level in terms of her hip. I think that's an awfully nice female to come into that 4th hole. And then we round out the top 5 with a big barreled ewe that maybe gets just a little bit finer in her features. I think she's one of the nicer headed females here, just in terms of her dark points and that chalky white head. I think that's a tremendous set of females all the way through. Let's give them a big round of applause. Congratulations here.
Placing on the Rambouillet Early Junior Ewe Lamb class, first place to 42, Vivian Stephenson, Mount Ulla, North Carolina, with Lazy 5, 8263. Second place to 39, Haig's Crazy H Club Lambs, Jordan, Montana, with Haig, 25-1. Third place to 41, In-Body Brothers Rambouillets, Genera, Ohio, and fourth place to entry 40, also In-Body Brothers Rambouillets. Placing on the class of yearling ewes for the Monadale National Show. First place to 28, Cody Jacobson, La Grande, California, with Mum, 2410. Second place to entry 32, J.W. Sims Reisner, Albion, Illinois, with 3J Coors, 1087. Third to 36, Greg Miller, Bruce, South Dakota. Fourth place to 29, Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois. Fifth to 33, Greg Miller, Bruce, South Dakota. 6 to 31, Cody Jacobson, La Grande, California. Seventh place to entry 25, Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois. 8th place to 30, Lydia Lutman, Waterloo, Illinois. 9th place to 26, Kelsey Patterson, Hannah City, Illinois. And 10 to 27, Easton Novak, Rolling Prairie, Indiana. Placing on the Baby Doll Southdown Fall Ewe Lamb class, first place to 49, Harper Nichols, Bombay Baby Dolls, 2472, Barbie. Harper is from Jerseyville, Illinois. Second to 27, Alden Foff, Norwalk, Wisconsin, with Bombay Baby Dolls, MN 83994. Third place to 48, Caleb Craig, St. Joseph, Illinois. And 4 to entry 50, Ty Fuller, Clark, South Dakota.
here on the Monadale ring here. I think we've got a really nice set of slick shorn yearling ewes. I think our class winner just wins this deal pretty easily for fun. I think that one's an awfully nice ewe. Just a female that's built extremely good. She's got a lot of dimension and rib and body to her. She's got a nice head about her. I think this is a really neat one there to lead off with. The next one, and maybe the next two, you could shuffle those just a nickel if you want to. I think just a little bit better necked and maybe a little more femininity, excuse me, in this second ewe, one that maybe not as bold and as massive as those ewes on either side of her, but gives just a little neater look about her in terms of her profile. I think this is a nice pair in 1 and 2. The third one, again, just massive and thick, really straight in terms of her lines, not quite as much femininity about her, a little more boldness about her shoulder as she drops that to the ground, but a really nice female in terms of dimension. Then we work into a couple big ewes here, very stretchy, a very stylish type of females, just giving up some of that mass and structural correctness that we have in those three ahead of them. Nice class here of those slick shorn ewes. Congratulations.
Placing on the Rambouillet Late Junior ewe lamb class, first place to entry 47, In-Body Brothers, Rambouillet's Genera, Ohio, with in-body 25-29. Second place to 44, Jared Connor, South Bloomfield, Ohio, with UNI Livestock 0885. Third place to 45, In-Body Brothers, Rambouillet's Genera, Ohio, and fourth to 46, Haig's Crazy H Club Lambs, Jordan, Montana. Placing on the slick sheared yearling ewe class for the Monadales, first to 39, Caleb Klein, Claypool, Indiana. Second to 38, Ryan Gann, Leaf River, Illinois. Third to 41, Caleb Klein, Claypool, Indiana. 4 to 40, Ryan Gann, Leaf River, Illinois. And 5 to 37, Lydia Letman, Waterloo, Illinois. Placing on the pair of ewe lambs for the Rambouillets, first place to entry 48, Vivian Stephenson, Mount Ulla, North Carolina. Second to 51, In-Body Brothers, Rambouillets, Genera, Ohio. Third to Jared Connor, South Bloomfield, Ohio. And 4 to Haig's Crazy H Club Lambs, Jordan, Montana. Champion ewe for the Rambouillet show goes to the first place yearling ewe, entry 19, Dwayne Bauk, New York Mills, Minnesota, Dewdrop Farm 24-45. The reserve champion to the first place early junior ewe lamb, entry 42, Vivian Stephenson, Mount Ulla, North Carolina, with Lazy 5, 8263. Placing on the pair of yearling ewes for the E.H. Mattingly National Monadale Show. First place goes to entry 46, Cody Jacobson, LeGrand, California. Second to Greg Miller, Bruce, South Dakota. Third to Greg Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois. 4 to Caleb Klein, Claypool, Indiana. And 5th to Ryan Gann, Leaf River, Illinois.
Just two senior ewe lambs here in our Monadale show. I think both of them offer some positives here for us. Just a little square-edged one here to lead off with, right behind her shoulder. She's just a little bit truer in terms of how she's built there. Really a long-sided one that profiles really nicely for us. Real fancy one here. And second, you like that one just in terms of that jerk of her neck, right in behind her shoulders. Maybe like to just clean her up there just a nickel if we could. But a real nice pair of senior ewe lambs. Congratulations.
Placing on the senior ewe lamb class for the E.H. Mattingly National Monadale Show. First to entry 51, Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois, with Corzat 2502. Second to 49, J.W. Sims Reisner, Albion, Illinois, with Mum 2422.
Well, here in the Monadale Ring, we bring our senior ewes back out here for our senior champion and reserve. Let's put our hands together for all 6 of these exhibitors here for our national show. I think very high quality. I thought that fitted yearling ewe class was extremely good. I think we've got an extremely good slick-sheared yearling ewe here, and then a pair of real fancy fall ewe lambs to come back out here for us. We're going to use that pair of fitted yearling ewes. I think just a good pair. They're very good spined. They're good in terms of their head and neck structure. A good set all the way through. Let's give them a big round of applause. Congratulations here.
Best fleeced animal for the Rambouillet show went to entry 39 out of the early junior ewe lamb class. Haig's Crazy H Club Lambs, 25-1. Haig's Crazy H Club Lambs, Jordan, Montana. Placing on the flock class, first to Vivian Stephenson, Mount Olla, North Carolina. Second to In-Body Brothers, Rambouillet's Genera, Ohio. And third to Haig's Crazy H Club Lambs, Jordan, Montana. Premier exhibitor for the Rambouillet show was In-Body Brothers, Rambouillet's Genera, Ohio. For the National Monadale show, our senior champion ewe went to the first place yearling ewe fitted, entry 28, Cody Jacobson, La Grande, California with Jacobson 2410. The reserve went to the second place yearling ewe, entry 32, J.W. Sims Reisner, Albion, Illinois with 3J Coors 1087. Placing on the Baby Doll Southdown Winter ewe lamb class, first place goes to entry 58, Brooklyn Johnson, Delavan, Wisconsin, with Hild Brothers, 25313, Rosa Stark. Second place to 55, Riley Donkers, Firebolt, Minnesota, with Big Woods Proper, Donkers, 681. Third to entry 62, Bridget Eldridge, Winters, California. 4 to 60, Harper Nichols, Jerseyville, Illinois. 5 to 57, Knox Heffelfinger, Patoka, Indiana. Sixth place to 67, Knox Heffelfinger. Seventh to 56, Scott Odlin, Ivanhoe, Minnesota. Eighth place to 54, Patricia Roberts, Rennick, West Virginia. 9 to entry number 61, Bridget Eldridge, Winters, California. And 10 to 64, Ty Fuller, Clark, South Dakota.
Nice set of January lambs here in our Monadale show. I think we lead off with one that just combines some things that we're looking for here. Just, again, really, really straight in terms of how her spine lays into her shoulder. Really good in terms of her look and her appeal. A lot of show ring appeal about her. Again, hardly any wool on that female at all. She's just really, really neat in terms of her top shape there. Really nice about her head as well. The next few we can interchange just a nickel. The next just squarest, best-footed one here next, I think, is a little smaller framed one that we use in second, but really a neat one when you put your hands on her. She paints a nice picture from the side. She's not quite as stretchy, not quite as tall at the point of her shoulders as we have on some of these other ewes, but very sound on her feet and legs. I think this is an awfully nice one to go too. Big ewe that you like a lot of things about here. And third, again, one that maybe just like to just make her just a nickel more coordinated as she moves around the ring about her feet and legs. But love the stretch and the style about her. Maybe she's going to work herself into a yearling ewe that maybe that holds herself together just a nickel better. I think that's an awfully nice female as well. Big bold ewe that comes to us in 4, maybe gives up some of that front end extension and that style that we have in those 3 ewes ahead of her. But again, you appreciate the dimension. She's maybe one of the bigger footed ones here, and you certainly appreciate that about her. In 5th, we've got the great big ewe here that is a problem sheep for me, just a nickel. I like how growthy she is. She's got a really nice head about her. In motion, she's just a little bit gangly as she holds herself together. I think a nice set all the way through. Let's give them a big round of applause. Congratulations here.
Placing on the Monadale January ewe lamb class, first place to entry 58, Greg Miller, Bruce, South Dakota, with Miller 25110. Second place to 55, Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois, with Corzat 2508. Third place to 57, J.W. Sims Reisner, Albion, Illinois. Fourth place to 54, Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois. And fifth place to 56, Kelsey Patterson, Hannah City, Illinois.
Here on the Monadale side of the ring, we've got an extremely nice set of February ewe lambs here. Again, some differences sorting through them. I guess for me, another combination sheep here on top of just very sound. When we put them into motion, you get your hands on her. There's a lot of dimension about her. And then off on the side, what sorts maybe this pair is that she's just got a little more depth and volume there, specifically there in that rear flank for us today. I think both of these females are again, very good in terms of their spine. The second one, really fancy, and maybe we're going to read her as being the bigger yearling ewe next year of that pair, and maybe rightly so. For me today, maybe just like to give her just a little more depth and volume compared to maybe our first ewe, but both of them very nice headed. They've got some upfrontedness about them, and both of them track around the ring free and easy. I think it's a nice pair in 1 and 2. Big ewe in third. I like a lot of things about this. When you handle that one, a lot of dimension in motion. She's maybe not quite as coordinated as those first two. Specifically what she does with her shoulder, she wants to take her shoulder to the ground just a nickel, take her hip and pin set to the ground just a nickel, but another really nice headed female that's very growthy and then probably going to be one of the bigger yearling ewes come next year as well. The ewe in 4, she moderates up just a little bit. A beautiful headed female though. When you get your hands on her, tremendous amount of dimension. If we could just stretch her just a nickel compared to those first 3, have maybe just a little more of a case, but a very nice female in 4. And then we round out the top 5 with a female that's just a tick green compared to those ewes ahead of her in terms of top shape. She is an extremely nice footed ewe. She's got some look about her up through her front end. And again, very nice about her points in terms of that breed character. I think another real good group. Let's give them a big round of applause. Congratulations.
Placing on the Monadale February ewe lamb class, first place goes to entry 68, Greg Miller, Bruce, South Dakota, with Miller 25-112. Second place to 65, Cody Jacobson, La Grande, California, with Jacobson 25-31. Third place to 64, Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois. Fourth place to 63, Craig Fleck, Brookings, South Dakota. Fifth place to 62, Lindsey Peterson, Claypool, Indiana. Sixth place to 59, Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois. 7 to 61, Easton Novak, Rolling Prairie, Indiana. Eighth place to 67, Lydia Lutman, Waterloo, Illinois. 9 to 66, Lydia Lutman, Waterloo, Illinois. Placing on the Baby Doll Southdown Spring Ewe Lamb class. First place goes to entry number 89, Hild Brothers Showstock, LLC, Webster City, Iowa, with Donkers 694 Presley. Second place to entry number 76, Knox Heffelfinger, Patoka, Indiana, with Fisher's Baby Dolls, ID 2625974. Third to entry number 88, Harper Nichols, Jerseyville, Illinois. Fourth place to 77, Scott Odlin, Ivanhoe, Minnesota. Fifth place to 72, Knox Heffelfinger, Patoka, Indiana. Sixth place to entry number 92, Hild Brothers Showstock, LLC, Webster City, Iowa. 7 to 93, Caleb Craig, St. Joseph, Illinois. Eighth place to entry number 70, Riley Donkers, Firebolt, Minnesota. 9 to entry 74, Heather Wright, Moose Lake, Minnesota. 10th place to entry 71, Harper Nichols, Jerseyville, Illinois. 11 to 80, Jovi Meisner, Ransom, Illinois. 12th place to 78, Josie Meisner. 13 to entry number 82, Madeline Mag, Ottawa, Ohio. 14th to 75, Madeline Mag. And 15 to Hadley, Kinley, and Knox Paulus, West Milton, Ohio.
Here in the Montadale Ring, a nice set of March ewe lambs here for us. Some give or take in this group. There's some things you'd change, some things you like about each and every one of them here. My two favorites here. One of them, the leadoff ewe gets just a little bit flexy on one of her pasterns, and the second place ewe wants to get a little bit up in her top. So some give or take in that pair. I think at the end of the day, though, they both set them on all four corners like they're supposed to. They both handle with some dimension and some balance about them in terms of their side profile. Both of them very nice headed in terms of just that Montadale breed character and that dark points about them. The leadoff ewes just a little bit better as she works back in through her hips and pins. I think this an awfully neat one in terms of her rib and body and barrel. I think this is a pretty nice one there to lead off with. Our second one, just as fancy as you'd want one up through her front end. Maybe at times stands a little bit nicer on her rear pastern than we have in that leadoff ewe, but we put her into motion. She wants to roach up just a nickel, and that's being pretty picky of two really, really high-end ones there. I think it's a nice pair. Our third one, again, big, bold type of female. Again, gets a little bit soft on those rear pasterns for us, specifically in motion, but again, very dark about her points. She's got some rib and some squareness about her. I think that's another nice female to go into that third hole. A little smaller, a framed one here comes to us in 4. Again, you get your hands on her, tremendous amount of dimension. Again, maybe wants to just get a nickel soft on those front pasters for us today, but a really neat one in terms of dimension. And then we round out the class with a big female that I think, again, probably going to be one of the bigger yearling ewes here. In motion, she's just not quite as coordinated as a couple of them. Maybe like to square her up in her hip. That's a darn good set of March ewe lambs, though. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations.
Placing on the March class for your National Montadale Show, first place to entry 70, Kuykendall Montadales, Richland Center, Wisconsin, with Kuykendall 1378. Second place to entry 71, Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois, with Corzat 2582. Third to 69, Mallory Corzette, Berwick, Illinois. 4 to 75, Craig and Kendra Fleck, Brookings, South Dakota. 5 to 74, Cody Jacobson, LeGrand, California. 6 to 72, Kelsey Patterson, Hannah City, Illinois. 7 to 73, Easton Novak, Rolling Prairie, Indiana.
Real nice set of slick-shored Montadale ewe lambs here. I think we lead off with just, again, the combination ewe here of just muscle and shape, and then maybe just a nickel better there in her shoulder than we have in this second sheep. Maybe just a little squarer, and as she works in from hooks and pins that we have in that second ewe. Both of them have more dimension than our next two. Both of them stand with a little bit of extra substance of bone. We appreciate that about them. The one in third, a real fancy, spicy little ewe lamb that has got a nice look about her. She doesn't have as much dimension about her as we have in those first two, but she certainly runs the right way for us. And then we round out the top four here with a real straight and level lined one. Maybe just like to give her a little more stifle shape if we could. I think four nice slick sheared ewes. Congratulations.
For the Baby Doll Southdown, our champion ewe was the first place fall ewe lamb, entry 49, Harper Nichols, Jerseyville, Illinois. Bombay Baby Dolls, 2472, Barbie. The reserve champion ewe was first place yearling ewe, entry 45, Vivian Stephenson, Mount Ola, North Carolina. Big Woods Donkers, 619, Oregano. Placing on the Monadale Slickshorn ewe lamb class, first place to entry 80, Caleb Klein, Claypool, Indiana, with triple K 25002. Second to 79, also Caleb Klein, Claypool, Indiana, with triple K 25003. Third place to 76, Tanner Gann, Leaf River, Illinois. 74th to 78, Tanner Gann, Leaf River, Illinois. Placing on the pair of ewe lambs for the Monadales, first place to Greg Miller, Bruce, South Dakota. Second to Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois. Third, Cody Jacobson, LeGrand, California. 4 to J.W. Sims Reisner, Albion, Illinois. 5, Caleb Klein, Claypool, Indiana. 6, Tanner Gann, Leaf River, Illinois.
Here in the Monadale ring, we come back out here for our junior champion. Let's put our hands together for all 8 of these exhibitors. I think just a nice set of junior females here. For me, the January ewe lamb comes out here and just kind of commands quite a bit of presence. She's going to be our junior champion today, and then maybe closes up just a nickel for reserve. We're going to get this March ewe lamb here for our reserve junior. Let's give a big round of applause. Congratulations here.
Our junior champion for your National Monadale show came out of the January ewe lamb class, entry 58, Greg Miller, Bruce, South Dakota, with Miller 25-10. The reserve came from the March class of ewe lambs, entry number 70, Kuykendall Monadales, Richland Center, Wisconsin, Kuykendall 1378. The premier exhibitor for the Baby Doll Southdown show is Harper Nichols of Jerseyville, Illinois. That does conclude our Baby Doll Southdown show.
Back out here in the Montadale ring, excuse me. We're back out here for champion and reserve female. Let's put our hands together for these exhibitors. I think a really nice set of ewes that we got to sort through. Again, breeders, it's been my pleasure to come sort your national show. I certainly appreciate you asking me, and certainly an honor to do that here for us. To me, today, it just got a yearling ewe that's got some presence about her, some fancy about her, moves around the ring free and easy. She'll be our champion ewe today. And then it gets a little bit closer for reserve. We got a big old yearling ewe back there that's got a lot of rib and depth and volume to her. Got a ewe lamb here that's got a lot of fancy about her, that's just straight as a string here for us. We're going to use this ewe lamb here for reserve. Let's give him a big round of applause. Congratulations.
Champion ewe for the National Montadale show came out is the yearling ewe, which was our senior champion ewe. Entry 28, Cody Jacobson, La Grande, California with Jacobson 2410. The reserve grand champion was our junior champion from the January ewe lamb class, entry 58, Greg Miller, Bruce, South Dakota with Miller 2510. Placing on the flock class for the Monadales, first place to entry 92, Greg Miller, Bruce, South Dakota. Second to Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois. And third, Cody Jacobson, LeGrand, California. Premier exhibitor for your National Monadale show is Mallory Corzat, Berwick, Illinois. That does conclude our National Monadale show for this evening and all of our shows this evening. We will be back in here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.